Folks, welcome back to the show. I'm Craig Shelton. This is the Cut. You're checking us out right here every Sunday night from 6 o'clock to 7. Wednesday nights also from 6 o'clock to 7. Joining me in studio today is Will Lyles. This is my man Fred Foyer from ESPN 97.5 right here in Houston. My man Sean Garza from HMW. And of course, you know Richard Walker from HMW. He's here every week saying something ridiculous. And of course, he's joined this week by Sean Garza, who is determined to one him up in saying ridiculous things. What? I was raised to be honest. Honest. I'm an honest guy. I'm just telling to people like it is. Folks, obviously we love social media on this show. All of these guys here are active on social media with the exception of Will Lyles, which I don't know why you're not more active on social media.
Less is more.
Yeah, okay. I don't subscribe to that theory. But you can always follow us, and we appreciate that. You can see all of the Twitter handles for everyone right there on the screen and Facebook handles. And look, we'd love to hear from you and give us a follow. And we follow back. And hey, you don't have to agree with us. We just like to chop it up with you. Fred, why don't you tell everybody how they can catch you on radio Monday through Friday on ESPN Radio?
You can get me Monday through Friday, 4 to 7 o'clock on ESPN 97.5 in Houston. And Saturday nights is the Fred Fowler Show on Yahoo Sports Radio from 7 to 9 p.m. So you can catch me on that one as well.
And make sure you check up with Fred if you got any questions about gambling or just for fun or however you gamble. You might want to toss it out there.
Winning is fun. Yeah. We talk a lot of gambling on our show, so I figure why ignore it? People are doing it.
I saw this guy Michael Blackshear on Facebook, and it's one of the group pages I participate in. We got to hook something up with these Facebook group pages and try to find a big venue where we can get them all in one room and have some fun. And maybe take a couple of shows with that.
We need security.
Right. We definitely need some
HPG
security or some of
in
that
full
Paul's barbecue
Yeah.
to keep everybody calm. But here's what Michael Blackshear said in Man Up H-Town Sports Talk group on Facebook. He said, I think J.J. Watt is the best draft pick in Texans history. What do you think? Before I get you guys' comments, I responded. And I don't like to respond too much on these group pages because they get a little crazy. But I responded on this one because I just wanted to, just participate for a change. But this was my comment. Sorry. Thus far, it's Andre Johnson. I can't understand. I can understand the enthusiasm over Watt, but we can't understate a guy with a decade tenure of Hall of Fame level output like Dre is putting in. We all love JJ, and I'm confident he'll continue to deliver, but he's not the, quote, best draft pick in Texans history just yet. Let's see what he does over the next 5 to 8 years, assuming that he's in Houston that long. So is there anybody on this panel that agrees that J.J. Watt is the greatest Texans draft pick of all times? Sean, you seem to believe anything. Why don't you start off with that?
So we're not talking about LeBron?
No, we're going to skip LeBron this
okay, my bad.
LeBron to the Texans.
Yeah, LeBron to the Texans. No, actually, I disagree with that take. JJ has been great. He's been phenomenal. He's done far exceeded probably what anyone ever thought he would do here. But the whole thing is, it's all about tenure. It's all about doing it on a consistent basis. Doing it for 3 years doesn't do anything.
Right. I agree.
It does. It tells me what you could possibly do 5 to 8 years from now. But until you actually do it for 5 to 8 years, it's just projection. It doesn't mean anything. Andre Johnson is the right answer.
Fred, I talked to you a little bit about this earlier, and I thought your takes were dead on. And please share that with the viewers.
Well, I agree that it's Andre Johnson. I'm surprised that you didn't get responses in there about how you have sex with squirrels and stuff if you're on one of those those group pages, man. Those people
because I
ridiculous.
commented, but then I never...
Yeah, you don't go back and look.
Yeah.
But look, I love J.J. Watt. He's fantastic. Come see me in 3 or 4 years, though, if he has that kind of production. Andre Johnson has done it for 10 years, and I know last segment you said that I think Andre Johnson sucks. I think Andre Johnson needs to have 2 or 3 more good seasons to make the Hall of Fame.
Right.
Best player in Texans history, without a doubt. Best draft pick in Texans history. But we get caught up in guys. We see him and we see how great he is, but you don't look at it in context of the guys who aren't in the Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's the point I wanted you to really
go
get
look
out
at what
there.
Andre Reed did. A guy like Isaac Bruce, you're not even going to think about. Go look at his career numbers and what he did. And by the way, there's contemporaries. Reggie Wayne has better numbers than he does right now. Calvin Johnson is years
I think
behind.
Reggie
him.
Wayne is on his way though.
But
if he keeps it going.
the Hall of Fame is really, really hard for receivers to get in. Chris Carter just now got in, and I think that's good for Andre because I think that kind of guy getting in will eventually open it up for him. But to safely say he'd be in the Hall of Fame, he's going to need 3 more years of very high production, and at some point they got to get in the Super Bowl. Doesn't have to win it, but he needs to get to a Super Bowl.
Richard Rodney Cole commented on this, and he said, it isn't a draft pick, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say Wade Phillips changed the game for the Texans. You don't go from absolute worst defense to one of the top 2 defenses in the league in 1 year. He thinks that even though Wade Phillips wasn't a draft pick, he's the most valuable Texans acquisition all time.
I can't go that far.
Just because you're mad because he left Dallas.
I'm
sorry.
In the trash.
I'm sorry.
We threw
I'm
him
sorry.
in the trash. You found
I'm
him
sorry.
in the
He's a
dumpster.
Cowboy fan.
Jason Garrett threw him in the trash.
He's a
to
Cowboy
sabotage
fan.
the season
Let's
to
not
become the head
forget
coach.
that. He was
He's a
thrown
Cowboy
away.
fan slash Laker
You
fan
didn't
slash
go
Yankee
get Wade
fan
Phillips. You
slash
found him
Man
on the
U.
street
Yeah,
corner.
how's that Jason Garrett working out for you, by the way?
Hey, you might be your next offensive coordinator. You better
He
be nice.
sabotaged Wade
No, we
Phillips
already have
anyway.
it.
Come on now.
We have his clone.
Yeah, exactly. You got a backup quarterback as a coach, and we have one too.
What's your thoughts?
Anyway, but I can't quite disagree with that just yet. I think that obviously Wade's done a phenomenal job as defensive coordinator here, but Andre Johnson's the guy for the franchise. He's the face of the franchise, like you said, Fred. 10 years consistent production. I think it's a no-brainer. He's the best Texan in history.
Will Lyles, would you rate? Okay, Wade Phillips' first year with the Texans. How would you rate a scale of 1 to 10?
His first year, I would say 9.5.
So last year, how would you rate his performance as the Texans DC?
I would say about 6, 7.
Okay.
At most.
So we're talking about an average, just slightly above average job if you want to gauge it over 2 years based on the Will Lyles comments.
Consistency. Andre Johnson has been consistent every year he's played for the Texans, except his injury year. He was having a good year, but he got injured. But he's been consistent.
And when you're on Facebook and if you make a comment on a group page, and you normally make comments on group pages kind of like this, like, you have to be careful, But if you go back and you peep around, you look, and sometimes you see people you know. So on Facebook, Richard Walker said, not yet. I still say AJ, only because his body of work has been consistent for a very long time, but Watt has ridiculous upside potential, and I think that's what it's all about. Mm-hmm. That's probably the shortest explanation for the whole deal is that everybody acknowledges J.J. Watt. What Watt has done, in his first year and in a couple of years here. But the league is too deep. There's too many things that can happen. Right. You don't just go and anoint guys, as the greatest draft pick of a franchise in 2 years.
But isn't that what we've become? And I love social media as much as you do, but isn't that part of it? Everybody has to react to,
right.
J.J. Watt's the greatest pick ever. After 2 years, really? Wade Phillips is the best acquisition in team history. After 2 years? Come on. When we watch the British Open tomorrow, when Tiger comes from behind and wins a major, we're going to talk, is this the greatest major ever?
The 2 best things that happened in Texans history. Charlie Cassidy not picking Vince Young. That's one.
Wait a minute.
Wait a minute. That's one.
Let me
Hater.
The second thing is.
Wait a minute.
Hold on, wait.
I
have outrageous takes, but even I agree with that.
He's a hater.
Costume
That's what they
change.
say, right? He's a hater.
I am now black quarterback guy. What do you mean? Not drafting Vince Young was a mistake.
The best thing ever.
Don't you know the man was trying to hold Vince Young down all these years?
He won a championship with Madison High School, man.
Don't you know the man?
He won in Texas.
Don't you know the man didn't want Vince Young in the
State finals.
defense?
No, they lost.
They lost in the semifinals
Right.
to Westlake.
It wasn't his fault.
The brothers are
They should have
putting
put him on
together
defense.
a Vince Young march. You can meet us at the Shape Community Center next Friday, 10 a.m.
They gonna shut 288 down.
We're going to shut 288 down, baby.
Black quarterback. I have one more comment.
Yes.
The second best thing that ever happened for the Texans was Ohio State. Because
You know what, black quarterback guy ain't going to talk to you no more.
if he would not have been hurt.
You're right.
They would have picked Willis McGahee with that pick, and Andre Johnson would have never been picked
You're
for
right.
the Houston Texans. I really believe
You're right.
that. If Willis McGahee wouldn't have got hurt
Oh,
Ohio
yeah,
State
definitely.
game.
Well, let's move on. This guy is an NBA guy, and even if he was an NFL guy, I don't think he would be black quarterback guy for sure. Let's talk about the comments of Charles Barkley recently in regard to the George Zimmerman verdict. We talked about it earlier in the show in the first segment. We said we'd get to it here in the second half of the show. We only got a couple minutes here, a minute or so left in the third segment, but we'll get it started and we'll carry on into the final segment of the show. So recently, former NBA power forward Charles Barkley spoke recently about the George Zimmerman trial on CNBC on their show Closing Bell. Barkley commented that he agreed with the verdict, the Zimmerman verdict. In quotes, he said, "I feel sorry that a young kid got killed, but they didn't have enough evidence to charge him. Something clearly went wrong that night. But if you look at the case, and there was some racial profiling, he did say that, something changed the dynamic that night," Barkley said. He also added that Zimmerman was wrong to have racially profiled Martin, but he felt like Martin, quote, flipped at some point and started beating the hell out of Mr. Zimmerman. Hold that thought. When we come back from a break, we'll go through these comments with these gentlemen, and we'll get their thoughts on the Charles Barkley comments in regard to the George Zimmerman verdict in the Trayvon Martin case, which was actually the state of Florida versus George Zimmerman. All right, hang in there. It is the Cut right here on UTN.